This is a meeting of the Board of Trustees, Martin County School District, held December 7th, today, 5 p.m. in the Marlin Middle School Library. We're going to discuss subjects, or the subjects to be discussed or considered upon which any formal action may be taken or listed in the agenda. Items do not have to be taken in the same order as shown on this meeting notice unless they're removed from the consent agenda. Items identified within the consent agenda will be acted on at one time. We'll start with a call to order, then a roll call. Burley and Terry.
Present.
Billy Johnson. Let the record show Billy is not here at this point. Danny Vickers present. We have a quorum, 2 out of 3 of the board members. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I swear now. Where's the flag? There we go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. We will start with the overview of the School Finance Integrity Rating System of Texas. Is that Mr. Callaway? Okay.
Good evening, board members. Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Hinton. Today I would like to present to you the 1920 first grade Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas for Marlin Independent School District. Please take into note that this is an account of the school year of 18-19, but it's the rating for 19-20, so it's always a year behind. And I would like to emphatically say that Marlin ISD did obtain a superior rating in the first rating of this year, but we only lost a minimum point, and I'll get to that point in presentation. I didn't want you to worry until I got to that point. Okay. So the purpose of the first report is to give school districts more accountability in their financial management of each, all of their accounting and how they are transparent with their information when it comes to public use of public funds, as well as federal funds and state funds. This originally started in 1999, and it's to improve the management of business office and transactions and making sure that we're paying vendors on time, paying down debt, and making sure that we have a healthy fund balance to make sure we can support the district if anything financial or emergency that may happen. So the objective is to measure and report the extent to which financial resources are allowed and their direct impact that they have on the district, fairly evaluate the quality of the financial management and decisions that are done publicly, as well as was done in executive cabinet and other measures within the district. And then finally, an open report results to generate that for the general public. So when anyone ever to ask for an open records request, it is matching what we have reported to our auditors as well as what we're reporting to our constituents. So just to give you an idea of the rating, it's typical like regular grade school have an A, B, and an F. We do skip the D. A superior rating is a 90 to 100, and as you can see, it matriculates down as to substandard when you come to see the F. So I'm very glad to say again that as I go through this, continue my presentation, Marlin ISD did receive a superior rating for their 18-19 financial management. So to go through each indicator quickly, we talk about the annual financial report that you will see referred to as AFR later on in the presentation. And we got a yes on indicators 1, 2A, and 2B. There's an actual description or a template in your packet that you have as well that talks about each of the indicators. So the first 5 indicators give a yes or a no, and the remaining will give a number. And I'll get there in a minute. The second part talks about, do we have an unmodified opinion in the annual financial report? This yes or no comes from our annual audit when we send our financials off at the end of the year to the accounting firm that does our final year audit. That just determines if we have a modified opinion if it was in favor of the district or if we had some, what's the word? I'm sorry. If we have some material weaknesses, is what I'm trying to say, within our financial management. Then we go forward to talk about compliance and payments over the fiscal year with debt. As you can see, we met those agreements. We also go further to talk about a TRS payment, which is a retirement payment that we pay on behalf of our employees. Then we go further to go to indicator 5, which is actually not scored, which talks about the net position and balance. So as I mentioned, as we go into 6, 7, 8 through 14, we're going to actually get a number. And the highest that you can get in each category is a 10. was the number of days of cash on hand and current investments in the general fund at the appropriate balance. We got a 10 for that one.
Do you know what the number of days was?
Say it again.
What was that number of days?
The number of days for this one, so the measure is we normally have 90 days on hand, which is for 3 months. I can actually research and get what they had at that time.
Okay.
This was back in 1819. I was glad that you had information.
Sure.
But I'm sure that it was within the range to get them to 10. So it had to have been the 3 months and it did exceed an excessive amount.
I see. Okay.
For number 7, what is the measure of the current assets and current liabilities ratio for the school district's official short-term debt? Meaning, can we pay our bills? If something happens, are we still able to maintain it? We got a 10 in that category. Was the ratio of long-term liabilities and total assets for the school district. As you can see, this is a little different. One is long-term and one is current assets. So that's the difference between indicators 7 and 8. 9, and question 9 of the 10, the general fund revenue equal or exceed expenditures means that you don't have more expenses than you do money that's in the bank. So we were a 10 on that one as well. Was the debt service coverage ratio sufficient? Do we have enough money to cover any debt that we have at the time? We got a 10 on that. This is the only indicator where we did lose 4 points. In actuality, this talks about the administrative cost ratio and ratio to our other expenses in the district. The 2 functions that they look at is function 21 and function 41. We actually were within 3% of getting a perfect score in this category. So hopefully this next financial year we'll make it those 3% and drop 4 points back to get an awesome superior rating to be able to have a perfect score. For number 12, did the school district have 15% decline in students, the staff ratio, and you actually keep your 10% if you keep your score of 10 if you don't lose any students in this category. So that's where we got a 10 in that category. And then 13, in comparison to our public education information management, you may also hear us use called P, that the difference was less than 3% than what we have in the annual financial report. And then the last 2 indicators, did the external independent auditor indicate the AFR was free of any instances of material non-compliance? That was a 10, and then the school district not receiving adjusted pay repayment schedule, that was a 10. So those 15 indicators, but one is not school, which is indicator number 5. So again, we got an A, superior rating, a 96 out of 100. Everything that you have in your packet was also posted online, as well as you have the actual, you don't have a packet, you have the actual document in front of you that shows where it is on TEA's website. And this report is also posted on Marlin ISD's website. And it was also posted in the Marlin Democrat about the exciting news to make sure that our community is aware of this information. Part of the required disclosures of the first report is the superintendent's contract. At this time, Dr. Michael Sebo was the superintendent, so his contract is available for those who want to read it. You also have a copy of it. The required disclosures on that time frame were about if there are any expenses that have been made between the board and the board members and the superintendent. That disclosure is also posted.
God have mercy.
The following required disclosures being have anything to report outside compensation fees received by the superintendent at the time, gifts received by executive officers at the time, business or transactions with board members for that fiscal year. There were none to report. Are there any other questions about the first financial report? And I apologize about the insert. So somehow within my office and the district office, they decided to renumber some things. We want to make sure we have the correct one. The correct one is posted.
Can you talk about, I'll find it in just a second here. I had it. Just a second. See, administrative cost ratio is what it is.
Yes, sir.
I'm curious. So 14, was it 14? 14 or 11. Okay, all right, good. Thank you. Just tell me a little bit more about that, if you would. And I thought that it had a great deal of it was weighted toward administrative salaries.
So we calculate everything that's within that function for 21 and 40. Mm-hmm. So 41 is campus, typically campus-based. 41 is general administration. Okay. But with the calculation, what people do think that the general is salary, but you also have supplies that may come into that,
Right.
that function, as well as contracted services, as well as any other miscellaneous operating expenses that we have under this function.
Okay. Do you know what the passing threshold is or the,
So for our district, because our district size is based on district size and then you're given a ratio. I
okay,
can actually provide that to you. For us, the number would have been 13.3, if I'm
Okay.
not mistaken. That's why I said we were only 3 percentage point, 4 percentage points off from getting the perfect score.
I see.
So it's based on the district size and the other range, 0 to like 500 or so, 501 to like 999. So within that range, we were just slightly off, which is still a good percentage point for where we were.
I just want to hear that y'all have an eye on it for this,
Oh,
for
yes,
this
sir.
present,
Yes, sir.
present year, because I know we're doing some extraordinary things and all that, and I just want to make sure that we are not getting too far out of.
The
Compliant.
internal practices of the business office is before you touch 21 or 41, you have to talk to me first to make sure that we are monitoring and staying on top of it.
Okay.
To make sure that even though we did score very well in all the other categories, there's always room for improvement to do better.
Sure.
And so yes, this is one of our focuses as part of the process that we're changing.
Okay.
And then I'll speak on it a little bit as well. So the 21 and 41, those are more central office expenditures.
Okay.
11, 12, 13, 31, they're more campus expenditures. So they want to make sure that it's kind of an even ratio between spending.
Okay.
In a district like Marlin, we're going to spend a lot of money on PD, training, development
Sure.
that are typically paid by the central office. So it's not coming out of the campus budget.
Okay.
So the difficult part is, do we take a hit to train our staff and pay for it for ourselves, or go after, try to get a good rating and have the campuses pay for it? But of course, salary does go into account that as well, but salary, training, transportation, all those things would account for that. Okay. So right now we are tracking those expenditures. And it's funny that they leave out 23, which is campus administration.
Oh,
Because
really?
if the principal was to pay for it, it might help out on that end. But for some reason, 23 is not allowed to be part of that ratio.
Is it part of the other ratio? 23 goes in the administration?
No, sir. They don't
not
count
anywhere.
the campus leadership at all.
Really?
Which definitely would help offset the cost because they're a campus expense. It's just how they score it.
It is, it's how they score it. And so in perspective of our surrounding districts, we did very well as far as the ratio.
Okay. Thank you.
So I've seen a lot of zeros.
Now,
I've seen several zeros.
in that indicator. That's the highest indicator of our school district.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? I don't know if there were any public comments or questions. That was our first one.
That's great.
Also, I want to make sure I point out there is a black insert as well about the that will be strictly handed to you all. There's a copy of the article. We're also working on getting a copy of the actual page article within the Democrat that highlights normalized in our first grade.
And it was definitely important to make sure that we let the community know that during the 18-19 school year, we had done very well. And then of course, give the accolades and the credit to Ms. Lewis, who at the time was leading the business office.
And so we will make this information as well, and hyperlink it from our website so the community can see the article and the other information in time.
We're on number 6.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Marlin ISD 2019 and
Actually, I think
2020.
it's pretty much.
First rating. That's what we just said.
That was it. So right now, you can't ask for public comments.
Okay. Any public comment? We'll adjourn this meeting.
So we'll adjourn this meeting and open up the next meeting.
This meeting is adjourned.
And we've done the pledge of allegiance, moment of silence in the other meetings.
We're doing all that.
I don't know if we need to
We don't need to
do it again. I don't think so.
All right, since we've already done the pledge and this roll call and moment of silence. We'll go to number 5, public comment.
Unposted.
Huh?
No reposted.
None posted. All right. Number 6, recognition. December 2020 Employee of the Month and December 2020 Lone Star Government Student of the Month and December 2020 Lone Star Government Employee of the Month. The first one was the Employee of the Month.
Good evening again, board members, and Superintendent Dr. Henson. I would like to introduce to you Mr. Marshall Higgins, our Employee of the Month. Higgins was born in Temple, but he grew up his entire life in Marlin. Actually, the Marlin High School class of 1996. He's been married for 6 years to Misty Higgins, the former substitute for the district. Gloria Barber, Marshall's mother-in-law, actually held this position before he did in the school district. Marshall loves to jump shot and bowling. In 2007, his team was the Waco City League champions. I want to make sure I get it right. Okay. He has 3 kids, Danny, Susie, and Maggie. And Danny was the class of 2018 from Marlin High School. So again, our Employee of the Month, Mr. Marshall Higgins. Next, I would like to introduce to you our Lone Star Governance Teacher of the Month, none other than Ms. Janice Carroll. Ms. Carroll is a veteran teacher of 20+ years. She's a 7th grade ELA teacher at Marlin Middle School. Her hobbies are reading, singing, we know, cooking, and relaxing with family and friends. She chose to become a teacher to help make a difference by nurturing teaching students not only curriculum, but also to become positive, productive citizens in society. Our December Lone Star Governance teacher is Janice Carroll. And our Lone Star Governance Student of the Month is Araya Johnson. She's a basketball player for DC. She's an honor roll student and she aspires to play college basketball and graduate with her bachelor's degree. After she graduates, she wants to be a veterinarian and has many other accomplishments and aspirations. Beyond that, she loves staying with family, friends, and staying at home and not watching her siblings. Again, our December Student of the Month, Araya Johnson.
I'm doing one without the mask so you can see.
Take the mask.
There you go.
Number 7, action items. A, convey November 3rd, 2020 election results. B, swearing in of the newly elected trustees.
Ms. Lynette Strickland, will you join me, please? And so for the canvassing, is that, do we announce it or we just sign it?
Oh, you're saying the canvas?
Yeah, the canvas thing. Yes. So I guess announcements, Demerson. Okay. Good evening, everyone, to our board president and board members. This evening, we're going to officially canvass the votes from the November 3rd, 2020 election. For at large, we have Ms. Rosalind Demerson with 528 votes, and no runoff is needed. Please give Ms. Demerson a hand. Also, for at large, we have Mrs. Sammy Lofton Washington with 365 votes, and no runoff is needed as well. Then we have for District 1, Ms. Deborah Levels McDavid with 162 votes recorded, and no runoff is needed. Congratulations. I'm going to ask for our new 3 trustees to join us here in the front. So now it's time for the fun part to swear in, and myself and Mrs. Strickland are going to do that. Will you please raise your right hand? Yes, ma'am. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, please repeat after me. I, and say your name. I, do solemnly swear or affirm. Do solemnly swear or affirm. That I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Marlin ISD Board Trustee. That I will faithfully execute the duties of the Marlin ISD Board Trustee. Of the state of Texas. Of the state of Texas. And I will go to the best of my ability, preserve. And I will go to the best of my ability, preserve. Protect and defend. Protect and defend. The Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. The Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God. So help me God. Congratulations. Thank you. If you would please sign and get notarized, and welcome to becoming a Marlin ISD board member.
Let me get on the way till we get out.
Now it's time for the board action.
We get away, when we go away, they come on.
No, no.
It's on page 3, it says.
That's my understanding anyway. I think that's right.
Approve the canvas.
You're right. So let's.
I move that the board approve the canvass of the November 3rd Marlin ISD regular trustee election results as submitted by the Falls County Election Department.
Second. It has been moved and second. Any discussion? Not ready to vote. All in favor? Raise your hand. Motion passed 3-0. Okay, time is 5:22. We're going into closed session. According to Texas Government Code, Section 551.074, deliberation of personnel matters, including 2020, 2021 salary scale and superintendent evaluation instrument.
Is if the partnership is approved by the agency. Keep in mind that a partnership is a balance of autonomy and accountability. Autonomy will go to the partner, however, the district is still the one who will hold the partner accountable for achieving ambitious outcomes. So in order to balance and improve outcomes, we make sure that we have an actual policy that's ELA local, which you have to identify in your packet today. And then from the important that on the second end, we set the goals and we have a strong overseeing and work relationship with the partnering agency. Adam, can you please click on hyperlink? You can just scroll. Here, we were able to utilize TEA's model ELA local policy, and then make adjustments to our policy. So we were able to see where our policy was strong, where it was weak, and then make the appropriate adjustments. I had an opportunity to review this with our attorney, and he provided his blessing as well. Thank you, guys. Are there any questions? Emergency action plan, Dr. Clark.
Again, both federal and gentlemen, members of the board, Dr. Wilson. Wanted to present the emergency operations plan for the district. So just some context, we, being that student, staff, parents, and the community have expectations of the district, not only to keep people safe, but also to be a good neighbor and community partner. The Technical Education Agency is part of the state Emergency Management Council issued recommendations that districts are required by state law to respond to requests for resources during a declared disaster, and also state that a district should adopt and implement policies, plans, or procedures for resource requests and management before, during, and after an incident. In reviewing one and these policies, we have not updated our emergency operation plan since 2013, 2014. And found that it did not meet the requirements of the state in terms of having the necessary information. There's also policies around addendums now in light of the pandemic for how we proceed in operation through that. And so before you, you do have a copy for your review of our revised emergency operations plan. I wanted to let you all know that this is a living document, it's a working draft to be reviewed by the state officials and feedback provided for ongoing revisions and updates. In accordance with section 37.2071 of the Texas Education Code, the Texas School Safety Center is requesting the district multi-hazard EOP, which is the Emergency Operations Plan. Chief John Simmons prepared this emergency operation plan draft document to receive your approval tonight to proceed with implementation under the state's advisory. Also, the document has also been submitted to the Texas School Safety Center for review and feedback to ensure all necessary elements are present before presenting a final draft that meets the TEA guidelines. And so what we are seeking approval tonight is your approval of this new draft, which at first review, it looks like we are on track for the requirements for the necessary components of the plan, but they are currently reviewing it to provide additional feedback and guidance on if there are any items that are needed to be redacted from the plan. Are there any questions?
Next, we'll have Mr. Bustamante to review the 2020-2021 appraisal calendar.
Okay, Board President Johnson, members of the board, Dr. Henson, tonight I will be presenting to you our 2020-21 appraisal calendar. If you could go to the next slide, please. So for 2020-21, our appraisal calendar for teachers and principals, T-Test and T-PES. T-Test is our Texas Teacher Evaluation and Support System. T-PES is our Texas Principal Evaluation and Support System. So for the month of August, the following items were completed. T-test goal setting conferences with teachers, T-test informal observations and walkthroughs began also in August. Moving on to the month of September, T-test formal appraisals began on September 22nd. For T-test, goal setting conferences were also completed by September 30th. For the month of October, the T-test goal setting professional development plan was due to the appraiser. For the month of January, the following items were due. T-test formal 45-minute observation must be completed by January 11th. I'm sorry, I'm on the month of September. For the month of September, going back to September, I'm sorry. T-test formal appraisals began on September 22nd. T-test goal setting conferences were also completed by September 30th. And then moving to the month of October, the T-test goal setting professional development was due. And then for the month of January, the T-test formal 45-minute observation must be completed by January 11th. And then for T-test, mid-year conferences will be completed by January 15th. And then for the month of April, T-test end-of-year conferences will be completed in April. And the 2021-2022 goal setting will be completed as well. And then finally, for the months of May and June, the following items will be completed. T-test appraisal periods will end on May the 3rd. And then for T-test, end of year conferences will be completed by June 15th. Next slide, please. So for T-test, observations may not be conducted on the following days: 2 weeks following the completion of T-test orientation, also during the administration of standardized tests, and then on the days before or after a school holiday, no observations can be completed on those days. Next slide, please. For our non-teacher appraisal calendar, conferences with employees to review the appraisal form must be completed by December the 18th. And then the topics of discussion for these meetings will be current job performance, clarity of job responsibilities, and plan for future growth and improvement. All appraisals must be completed by April 30th for our non-teacher appraisals. Next slide. Is there any questions?
Okay, thank you. And that concludes the report. That's it. Now it's time for the consent agenda.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the consent agenda that has been posted for us.
It has been moved and second that we approve the consent agenda. Is there any questions? Not, so vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Motion passed 3-0. Is there any other business need to be discussed? If not, we stand adjourned.